whatever got you in the situation that you're in today, whether financially or health or your business or etc., that was a process of habitual thinking leading into actions and results. So who are you going to get to help you out of that?
Hello there, friends of the Math PGA page and rock stars of Keller Williams. Today's video might be the most impactful video that you can watch. So clear your desk, take a few minutes to make sure that you're totally focused on this intentional conversation. We've got the honor and privilege to talk to one Drew Lee, MAP's head coach and developer of an incredible group course. The course is called Master the Path of Money. Drew, how are you doing today, bud?
Hey, I'm doing great. It's Friday afternoon. What could be better?
I'm telling you, I just love, you and I are close friends, and I love courses like this. You and I talk a lot about how we want to get all of we care about their success, all of our clients and agents in Keller Williams. Why don't you start with the name? I love this name, Master the Path of Money. Can you explain that to us, how you came up with that?
Well, you know, it was actually bounced around many times. We even threw it out there as a lab after the first round and said, hey, you know what do you think? Because, you know, immediately the name money creates a wedge in a lot of throats. It's uncomfortable. So many people have an iffy relationship with money where very few have a great relationship. And that's why when you say, you can look at the global economy and say, well, how come so few have so much? Well, because they understand and they play the game differently. They have just have a different strategy, a different way of thinking. You know, a few years ago, anyone that knows me knows that, you know, I don't watch a whole lot of TV. I don't have an opportunity. There's so many things going on. So when I do, I'm very specific, and I will absolutely binge watch and record Shark Tank over and over and over again. I love that show. And I love it because the way, it's not who's on it, it's the way that they think about business and about money, and they think differently. So a few years back, part of my bold growth plan, I said, you know what, I'm just curious how many of these people have authored books. And actually every one of them, every one of the sharks, if you watch the show, the ones that are primarily on, all of them have a book, each one. Some of them have multiple books. So a part of my growth plan said, you know, I'd just be curious, and it's fun, and I love the show, so I'm going to read one book from every shark. And I started down that journey, and I read 2 by Mark Cuban, who everyone knows, and then I read several by Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, and I love his thinking, Lori Greiner and Damon John. And I read their thinking. I was like, you know what? They look at money differently. It's not an uncomfortable topic, as it is for so many people. They think differently about it. They relate to it differently. It's okay to say, here's what I make. Here's what I do. Everyone knows I'm a billionaire. I can't hide from it. And yet, you look at the average person, you don't know if they're broke, rich, destitute, poor, doing exceptionally well, because money is such an uncomfortable topic. And we were searching for all these creative names and these marketing ideas and discover financial. And then every time we got to the topic, it was you know, well, I don't know, is that going to be comfortable for people? Clearly not. It's just not a comfortable topic to expose yourself to. And expose your relationship to. You know, people don't normally say, my marriage is in trouble, until it's in so much trouble they're reaching out for help or support. And money's the same way. So when I was flipping through, one of the inspirations behind the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, or Millionaire Real Estate Investor, behind this path, I should say, this course, is as I was looking through courses and finance books and money and Dave Ramsey and Tony Robbins and you name it, and just the plethora of information. I was obviously looking at Gary Keller, which I got in front of me, Gary Keller's book, the blue book, The Millionaire Real Estate Investor. Which he said when he wrote it, he said, you know, the challenge is that actually it's 2 books. He said the first half of the book is all about money, how to utilize it, how to understand it, how to navigate it, strategies with it. So you could chop the book in half and you'd have 2 books. And one of my favorite pages is actually page 129, and it's, lo and behold, Path to Your Money. And it says, the path of your money is basically a board game. It's a strategy. If you know how to win, you can win with money and succeed at a high level. So you can get creative, or you can just say, all right, well, if that's the path to money, and well, then why not just add one of Gary's words of, you know, the idea of mastery. 10,000 hours to master something, great. We'll just put master the path of money.
I'll tell you, I love that. I love the name of the course, and I love the explanation around that. And you know, you really do have a handle on the fact that This is like it's a relationship with money, and so many people, everyone. I'm going to say this: everyone that's listening to this, in some ways, needs to improve their relationship with money. So, like, I'm thinking for the people that are sitting down saying, these are some questions I haven't asked, or I'm uncomfortable doing that. What would you say to somebody who's kind of hesitating to hit go on getting into this course?
You got to start somewhere. James Clear, the author, if you've read Atomic Habits, says, it's by far, it's more important to get started than it is succeed. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned, going backwards for a second, he said, everyone can have a better relationship with money. One of the really popular items on Amazon these days, and many of us have one. I've got one at my front door. It goes ding, ding, and it's a ring. Okay. Mm-hmm. As I said, I'm a huge fan of Shark Tank. These are billionaires, entrepreneurs. Some of the most successful people have a great relationship with money, right? Well, Ring, if you don't know that, was on Shark Tank. It was a featured item on Shark Tank. Went up, did the pitch, walked away without a deal. When they went live and they sold for $1 billion to Amazon, one of the things that happened is they interviewed Kevin O'Leary and they said, Mr. Wonderful, what happened? He goes, missed it, made a mistake. Wow. So here they are, got this great relationship with money, and could it always be better? So it doesn't matter if you're living paycheck to paycheck, which 78% of Americans are. You're in wow. a category, which is a scary one, of 66% of Americans could not get $1,000 for an emergency without having to borrow from it or take out a loan or put it on a credit card, or you're a billionaire. I mean, we had one student go through this program that had $7 million in net worth, and we've had several that said, okay, great, I don't even know how I'm going to pay for this. I'm in the 78th percentile. Well, you and 79.9 whatever percent of Americans right there with you. So if anyone wanting to have a better relationship with money, that's what this journey is about, a community of people that can lock arms and say, look, we're all committed to just a better relationship regardless of where you are. And it starts with that first step. Complexity is the enemy of execution. So yeah. Atomic Habits, he says, it's why getting started is so much more important than succeeding, because it's that small incremental step that says, I'm going to start my diet. What's the most popular day to start a diet?
New Year's Day.
New Year's Day, right. And if you miss that and you fall short because, you start the gym, everyone joins the gym is waiting for December. Yes, our membership's going to go through the roof. And then July, no. Well, it's that first step. But after that, Mondays are the most popular day to start a diet. Because
okay.
no matter where you are in the week, you can start over again on Monday. It's a fresh start. Well, why not today? If you want to increase your likelihood of succeeding, you got to start somewhere. Make a small leap or a small step, and you're 85% more likely to achieve a goal. So you do something today towards that goal. And the first step would be, hey, get around people who want the same thing that I want. Don't show me, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Get around people that want the same future as you do, and take that first step and join a program like this, or an exercise program if that's your next thing. But one of the, if you've read Atomic Habits, one of my favorite points is we work to undo habitual behavior by minority behavior. So whether it's your relationship with money, your relationship with your health, diet, health, and exercise and money have a lot of similar relationships. Except the difference is if you sit on the couch eating bonbons and ho-hos and Twinkies, you're going to get large. If your money sits stagnant, it's going to dwindle and go away. So that's the only opposite effect. Well, when it comes to money and dieting and exercise, you've got to do something. You got to put something into practice. So it requires that small element or that small step and creating the habit. You're not going to, and this is what James said, is you're not going to undo 11 months of binge eating, of driving through the fast food line, of drinking alcohol, of just neglecting your body, and you're going to fix it by a 7-day juice cleanse, or, no offense, the Whole30 diet. It doesn't undo 11 months of habitual poor behavior. Well, the idea that you're just going to fix something with money, it doesn't work that way. You're just going to change your beliefs, and boom, and now it's all different. Whatever got you in the situation that you're in today, whether financially or health or your business or et cetera, that was a process of habitual thinking leading into actions and results. So who are you going to get to help you out of that?
I love everything that you're saying. I think a lot of people with money, and especially like even the idea of starting to fix your money situation or work towards a better one, there's always those people that think, God, I'm almost too embarrassed to get into this course, or I'm so far behind, I don't know how I'll ever catch up. But this course is perfect for that because there is no judgment, there is no ranking of people in the course. You're meeting everybody where they're at, aren't you?
Well, that's why it's called, actually, I think master the path is a great term, because it's not mastered as in past tense. It's not, we have it figured out, you don't. You know, I've been on this journey, you know, since my financial devastation, and I ruined myself with my own way of thinking or poor habits. You know, I've been on this journey for 20 years of working with people, teaching them how to make money, and then pivoting and saying, okay, you know what? I coach those individuals to learn how to make a lot of money. And I notice, okay, great. You're not going to revenue out of your way out of poor behavior. Now the next process is, in order to build that life by design, you know, in bold, it says, purpose of business is to fund the perfect life.
Yeah.
Well, I was noticing, great, we were helping create the revenue in order to create and fund that perfect life. But if you don't keep it, there's nothing there. There's nothing that's going to, I don't care how big you dream, you've got to be able to fund it, which means you've got to be able to keep it to fund it. So it's master the path, not master. We don't have it all figured out. I'm on the journey. I make mistakes. I buy things that I shouldn't. You know, we do it. But as a community, it's, okay, do you do it less? Do you stop, instead of, you know, you make that purchase, you're on Amazon, you're like, you know what, hey, that looks like a nice shirt. I'm going to hit, ooh, you know what? Or do I want to take that money and deposit it into an account? Do I want to become addicted to savings? So part of this community, we have a Facebook group and a Facebook community, and obviously you're part of it, is, you know, people will post on there is, you know, hey, I didn't spend this, and look at my savings account. It's now up to $1,000 or $1,400. Or, you know, someone posted the other day, and they had actually physically cut up their credit cards.
Wow.
It's those things that say, look, I know me. If I sit long enough, you know, it's like you go to a barbershop and you sit there long enough, you're probably going to get a haircut. If you behave in a way with money and it's not beneficial towards your long-term wealth or your long-term relationship with it, well, then change who you're around, change your habits, and everything else can work itself out.
I'll tell you two things you got me thinking about, Drew, and I'm going to take this interview in a different direction. First of all, this is also about managing your profit. I don't think a lot of people realize that, you know, when they make money, what do we do when we have money in the bank? We spend it. You know, what do we do when we make money? We spend it. So it's about managing profit, which everybody can learn from. But if you don't mind,
can I take that for a second?
Yeah, go for that. Yeah.
You know, well, we've been habitually, you know, I've been in the real estate industry since 2003. Prior to that, I was in the military, came right into real estate, and I've been doing this ever since 2003. So I experienced what it was like to be in the shift in 2008, in 2009, 2010, and I experienced what it was like to be in that dip, and that dip of, or the depths of, you know, economic hell. Well, coming out of it, we've been on that cycle now of coming out of it, of thriving. Page 14 and 15 is shift for reference. We've been in this thriving mentality. So what we're missing is, you've been conditioned, whether you know it or not, we've actually been conditioned to say, oh, make a lot, push it all back into the business, not focus necessarily on profit, because it's going to be okay. You know what? You push it back in, more comes out. You push it back in, more comes out. And that's actually what's been happening the last really 6, 7, 8 years. And we're not talking about that of your behavior has been trained to funnel everything back into it, not worry about profit. It's okay, because you're going to make even more next year. You're going to get to keep even more next year until a shift happens. And now what we're seeing is that behavior that says, wait a minute, I've been doing this for the last 7, 8, 9 years, or since the beginning of my real estate career. If you came in after the shift, I'm used to putting all my profits back in the business. What's wrong with that? You're not holding your business accountable, being tough on money to produce profit that then you keep. What you're doing is you're just pushing it all back in, and now the machine's broke. It's no longer, instead of having, you know, a fire hydrant or hose gushing money out, it's there's a kink in the hose somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great point. Great point. So the other thing I was going to say too, and I think you just touched on it in there, I want people to know a little bit about you, because I have a lot of respect for you as a coach, but your story is pretty unbelievable too. You haven't been walking around with just loads of money in your pocket and never had to worry about where the next dollar vacation's coming from. You weren't rolling around like that. Just in a couple minutes, can you just tell people a little bit about, you're a real person that's been through real life experiences, and how did you become so passionate about money? Because you didn't always have it, did you?
No. I mean, it depends on how far back you want to go into my poor choices in life. I was, I say, hey, I'm a product of I was a 15-year-old high school dropout. That's when I really started making cataclysmic poor life choices. When I was 18, I had the privilege of those. If you understand what it's like to sleep in a Geo Metro, it's fortunate that I'm a short guy, because leg space isn't one that they're known for. So I've slept in my car, and my habits didn't get better with money. I just became a little smarter. I joined the military. And yet my money habits still continued to be so bad, and my life choices didn't drastically improve. So when I was in my late 20s, I had the honor and displeasure of standing in front of a judge admitting that I was so bad with money, I needed someone to step in. I was out of options. My military career at the time was being jeopardized. So I just step in front of a judge and say, I'm all yours. You can throw a spear at me, do what you need to do, take me to the bowels and whip me. You got it. Here's my checkbook, whatever. There was nothing in it anyway. And
well, I think sometimes we forget that people that learn how to master money didn't wake up mastering it. You had to go through something, didn't you?
Right. And so the idea of reading everything, I mean, I've got a stack of books that could actually be taller than I, of the literature that I've read to compile and put into this type of program. And it's just been over the last 20 years of not only, hey, I know what this is like. I experienced that paycheck to paycheck. I've seen both sides of things. I can tell you this side's far better to be on this side of things and watch, look at a credit card company and like, I don't owe you anything, and look at your debt and say, I don't owe you anything. I don't owe anybody anything. I'm actually back to when I was, when you're born in the world, you're born debt free. And it's like many people spend the rest of their life attempting to get back to their birth weight. You had no debt then, and then it's like, hey, I'm back to my birth weight. No, that's a journey that it's like a marriage or any relationship. If anyone that's been married longer than 5, 10, 15, 25 years, those long-standing marriages will tell you it wasn't always easy. It was rough. We fought, we loved, we hated, we just, we went this way, we went everywhere in between. And that's any relationship. If you want to have a better relationship with money, you don't neglect the one that you have. You don't neglect speaking to it, looking at it, talking to it, and figuring out how to get better with it.
That's awesome. Well, I'll tell you what, we love the opportunity to get to know you a little bit better. I'm a big fan, and this course I'm a big fan of. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's just be really ready to get into this course. So it launches on a very impactful day for money management. This course is launching on Monday, the 15th, which we all know next Monday is Prime Day. One of the biggest areas, black holes for people's finances, is online shopping. So ladies and gentlemen, now program yourself to go to the computer and type in mapsbga@kw.com and send in your information to say, I need to be in Master the Path of Money before you jump onto Prime Day, or go to our KW Maps coaching page to get into this course sooner than later, and let's have a great financial future. Drew, thanks so much for the time, buddy.
Hey, thanks, Sean. I appreciate you.
All right, bye.